What is up, YouTube? This is Gilbert Lala Lakers back with another video. This is going to be the post-game discussion on the Lakers Portland Trailblazers preseason game here in 2015. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to discuss was Marcelo Huertas. He is a 30. He's in his 30s. I don't exactly know his exact age, but coming over from FC Barcelona, where he was starting for several years. If you know anything about the international scene, you know FC Barcelona is one of the strongest teams outside of the NBA. So I'm not really that surprised that he is as talented as he is. That being said, it's pretty remarkable how composed he looks on an NBA floor with, working against NBA competition. His basketball IQ seems top notch. It really does. I would consider him a floor leader, and although we haven't seen an extended duration of him, coming in, night in, night out, night in, night out throughout an 82 game season, you can definitely see signs that this guy is a natural general out there with as a point guard. I feel that that's a term that's loosely given out nowadays. However, I feel it heavily applies to Marcelo. When he's out there, you just get the feeling that the ball is moving how it's supposed to. Against elite level defense, I want to see how he stacks up. A team like Golden State or Atlanta, teams that force turnovers, not just wait for them. The Spurs, another team that comes to mind. Great team defense. I do feel that it will translate. I do think that his passes have been the correct passes and not just flashy. They are actually what's needed to get the ball to the correct person for the buckets. And it's a great sign. I really love what I'm seeing. If he does make the roster, which I highly, highly hope he does, I really feel that he's the type of player that can lift our bench to not just being productive, but being very efficient as well. You come in and you look at his statistics. I don't know, I don't have the box score up for this game, but you look at his statistics for the few games he's played, and he's coming in not only getting these passes off, these wonderful passes, racking up those assist numbers, which means he's getting people easy buckets, or at least buckets that they want to shoot, but he's also contributing on the scoring end. Although he's not a natural scorer, I think it's quite evident. He has a hitch in his jump shot. He's kind of thrown up a little bit questionable, a couple questionable shots, but he's consistently hitting that mid-range jumper. He's not scared to take the jump shot, it seems. Although I think he's a better shooter than he's maybe giving himself credit for, I like that he's realizing, that's not what the team needs. We have a Nick Young out there, and Jabari Brown, at least for the preseason, when that turns into Kobe and Jordan Clarkson with Nick Young and Lou Williams, I really think it'll be even more exposed. Like I think the exposure of his playmaking ability will increase. I feel that he is a team leader that can lift the spirits of the second unit, have them play really, really well throughout the course of the games and throughout the course of the season. And I really, really hope he makes the roster because he is showing me a lot of good things out there on the court. So, great job by Marcelo Huertas. Good job for him. To continue on the basketball IQ and kind of go on the other end of the spectrum, we have Jabari Brown. Jabari Brown is a scorer. There's no denying that. He's scored at the D-League level in pretty elite categories. At the NBA level, he's even shown glimpses of being able to be a productive offensive player. That being said, his IQ is horrendous in my opinion. There was one play specifically in this game where they brought it down the court. Marcelo Huertas is pointing. He's pointing to his teammate, like, hey, get him the ball, set up the offense. Jabari just puts his head down and runs to the basket, trying to force contact or throw up some kind of loopy shot. He doesn't seem to have the right mentality for where we want to go. And it's not just saying that he's maybe not an NBA level player, because he probably is, honestly. There's usually always a spot for a guy that can naturally score the ball. He can shoot from outside pretty decently. He can drive to the basket, create contact for how small he is. He's not exactly the biggest guard. I want to say he's like 6'4", 6'5", maybe. Uh, on the lower end, maybe 6'3". But he's not scared to go into the land of the Giants. Fantastic. That's what you want in a scorer. Unfortunately for the Lakers specifically, I don't really see where he would fit into our lineup. He can't really play the point guard, at least in my opinion. I haven't really seen anything that shows a sign of him being able to play the point guard effectively. He seems to be only have a scorer's mentality. And even defensively, it's not like he makes it up on that end either. I've seen some lapses in defense, specifically towards him, towards his performance, that is not really appealing to me as a final cut type player and where we want to go with this franchise. We have the scores necessary. Let's be honest. We have Kobe Bryant. We have Jordan Clarkson, who's I'll get to in a little bit. We have Lou Williams, Nick Young, as I mentioned earlier with Marcelo. I don't really see how Jabari fits in, and it would be very confusing to me if they decided to keep him on long term. Although I think he is a guaranteed contract, so that would be the only exception if that's just the route that they want to go. They don't want to waste the money that was committed to him. I guess I understand. It's not my money, so I can't blame them on wanting to save how much ever they're paying him, probably like the 800,000 range or upwards. So yeah, I understand that. But he forces his shot way too often. He ignores offensive sets, which is extremely important at this level. There's a reason that these coaches and these coaches are getting paid so much, have so much influence, that their assistant coaches are now increasing in numbers. Now, instead of having like what, 3, 4 assistants like we used to, usually nowadays on a roster you see about 7, 8, counting the special attribute type coaches like shooting coach, big man coach, stuff like that. So these guys know what they're doing. That's obvious. The franchise wouldn't be hiring so many coaches if they didn't feel it was necessary. Now all these coaches decide, hey, we should run this offense. Why is Jabari Brown saying, well, fuck that? I want to drive. I want to go. I want to go into the lane, force a tough layup over traffic. I don't like it, and I don't feel it's enough of a. I don't feel he brings enough of what he brings to have it warrant everything that he doesn't bring. So we'll see what the staff decides to do with Jabari. I know a lot of people on the online community will just don't really see it. They don't really see why he's still being contemplated as a final roster make. But we shall see within these. We have one more preseason game left before the regular season starts. We still have to make, I believe, 2 cuts. So we shall see if Jabari makes it. Going on to another young player, we have Tariq Black. I believe that's how you say his name, or Tariq Black. And I've liked this guy. Going back to last season, he started for us in quite a few games because of injury or what have you. And it seems that this young man can rebound the ball. And he's not just a rebounder. Although I will say that that's probably his most outstanding attribute. His rebounding is not just being in the right spot at the right time like some guys in the league. He goes and gets it. He goes and gets it with force as well. And I think that's really impressive from a young man like this. He's not scared to be physical, which is fantastic from a big guy, especially an undersized big like him. And he's not exactly retarded on the offensive end either. He can bully his way inside after these offensive boards or after these defensive boards on the next set down on offense to get a layup or to get a dunk. And he does seem to need a little bit of work on flowing with the offense. He kind of looks a little bit stagnant at times, I will say. But for the most part, he's moving effectively. He's getting to the rim, which is exactly what you want to do. Make it easier on yourself. And I really like what I'm seeing from him. I would highly prefer him over Robert Sacre at the moment. Although Sacre has a little bit of that outside jumper, he just doesn't seem to have the basketball IQ which obviously heavily focused on this episode, that Tariq Black has. And I think that's great for Tariq Black, and I think that what he's shown so far is enough to make the final roster and contribute coming into this upcoming season. Jordan Clarkson, man, Jordan Clarkson. I love seeing this guy play. Even going back to last season, I wasn't following as heavily as I am now, but damn, do I see this guy's potential. I really, really like where he's going with this season so far as well. It doesn't seem like he's settling. To me, he has Jabari's offensive prowess in terms of mentality. Like, he's not scared to take it inside. His first step is absolutely amazing. He uses his screens so effectively. When he comes off a screen, he always gets the defender on his back, and he keeps him there. He uses his ass. He boxes out a little bit on offense while dribbling, and he forces the defense to come to him. He's a skilled enough passer to still make the play. Like, we saw one really nice dish down low to someone, I want to say Sacre, and they just couldn't convert. But those are the types of plays that we will convert once we start, getting our final roster. So I like what Jordan Clarkson is doing. He's getting into the mid-range extremely easily, and he's still able to hit that mid-range jump shot. If he's open on the three, he'll take it. He can attack the rim fiercely, just throw it down on someone. He had a really nice putback dunk, I believe, a couple games ago. This guy is going to be something really good, and I'm excited to see what his ceiling is. I don't think we have a definitive answer to that question at the moment. I feel that as of right now, he's probably a starter in this league. I would say him with D'Angelo, maybe Kobe at the three, is going to be one of our best units and lineups out there. And if he can continually improve on what he's been doing so far this season, becoming maybe that coming off screens like a Chris Paul, I won't say, obviously he has a very different skill set than Chris Paul, but the way that he utilizes screens is very reminiscent of Chris Paul in my opinion. And I think that it'll lead to easy buckets for him, which is fantastic, and even better, easy buckets for other Laker players. Of course, I did want to talk about some of our defense in this game. It has seemed to improve. Great sign for us, honestly. I will say that we still have some issues, of course, which is to be expected. But Damian Lillard, an elite point guard in this league, was able to get anything he wanted on us most of the time, most of the possessions in this game. That is a worrying sight, honestly, because in the West, you're going to be going up against guys like this pretty much night in and night out. Even if it's not an elite point guard like Damian Lillard, maybe an elite shooting guard like James Harden, who's going to be forcing the issue, bringing it inside off the dribble, forcing the defense to collapse and creating open looks for other players. So I want to see a little bit more energy defensively, trying to cut off the dribble, and something as little as that, making the player pick up the ball and make the pass sooner than he wanted, could translate into a lot of defensive stops or some rebounds off of missed shots. So I will say it's improving, which is a great sign. There's still a lot of work to do, and hopefully that'll be solved by the time the Timberwolves game comes around for the season opener. So with that being said, that is going to be another video for the post preseason game discussion, I believe that's what it's called. Nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like the video, comment in the section below if you have anything you would like to discuss. And I'm excited. We have another game coming up against the Warriors, which is going to be tomorrow, I want to say. And that will be our final preseason game. Then we get into some regular season action. So that is fantastic. I cannot wait. Be expecting another post-game discussion for that game as well as some other videos that I have planned for the start of the season. Once we get underway, it'll be a lot easier to take what we're seeing for granted, because it actually means something. Right now, the preseason, we still have a lot of coaches tampering with the lineups. Some players that are expected to be bench type role players or even prospects, to develop, playing a lot more extended minutes than would be the case in the regular season. So as of right now, you can still take some things from the preseason, but you can't really get a definitive answer. So once the regular season starts, I think we'll start seeing more discussion, more actual facts coming into play. So once again, thanks for watching. This has been Gilbert, Lala Lakers, and I will talk to you guys later.